longer as a self-employed individual, you'd likely be looking at visa routes like startup and innovator, which are separate visa routes, which offer people who are creating businesses or working independently. So those are options to look into. But whilst on the graduate route, it would potentially be possible, providing, of course, you met all the other requirements of UK labour law and business formation and stuff like that.
And when it comes to the startup route, is there a minimum investment that the UK government will be looking?
It's a good question, and the answer is no. That's actually relatively new. We changed that about a year and a half ago. So people on the startup visa don't need any minimum investment. If you're on the innovator visa, you need 50,000 GBP of minimum investment in almost all cases. But for the startup route, you don't need any investment. You take a business plan, you take it to what we call an endorsing body, which is basically a professional business organisation which reviews your plan. And then if that organisation says, yes, this is a good business plan, they will endorse you, and then you can apply for the visa thereafter. So it's much more about the quality of the business plan than about the investment you have for the startup route. The startup route is for 2 years. It does count towards settlement. However, you can't renew it. You would move on to the innovator visa after that. So if you're looking at building a business in the UK, you could do the graduate route, and then you could do 2 years on the startup, 3 years on the innovator visa, and then potentially apply for permanent residency after that 5-year period on startup innovator. So that's another route for people to extend the time. A startup does not require any funding at all.
Just going through the questions, just checking our social media, just a second. Okay. So for students, Harry, for students who are graduating probably in 2020, 2021, will they still be able to be eligible for this?
It depends on when the student visa was eligible for. I mentioned the graduate route is going live on Thursday, on the 1st of July, and it is for people who have a valid student visa and are in the UK after the 1st of July. So if you're studying in this year and your student visa is still valid and you're in the UK from Thursday, you can apply for the graduate route. So that'll be the majority of people who have done a master's in this academic year, for example, or who are completing undergraduate courses this academic year. However, if you completed your student course, say last year or 6 months ago, and have now left the UK, you wouldn't be eligible. But if you're currently about to complete a course and have a valid student visa and are inside the UK, that's the sort of golden rule, that's the key thing, valid student visa inside the UK. And that's, if you meet those requirements, you may well be able to apply.
I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, Harry. There's a question on vaccination and COVID-19. So for students who are going this September, would they be allowed as international students to be vaccinated? Would they be able to be part of the vaccination efforts and programs with the UK government?
Yeah, I can answer that. So the 2 key points for that is, firstly, yes, if a student is in the UK with a valid student visa, they will be eligible for vaccination in line with the rest of the UK population, which is mainly dependent on age and healthcare conditions. So yes, if you're in the UK in September, October, you have a valid student visa, you are entitled to be vaccinated as you are a resident of the UK. So if you haven't been vaccinated by that point, that is an option available to you. The second key point on vaccinations is that it does not change what's required of you when you go to the UK. So all African countries are either on the UK's amber or red list for travel. Amber basically means home quarantine is required. Red basically means mandatory state hotel quarantine is required. Many countries in Africa, well, all countries are either one or the other. Basically, what is required of you will depend on which country you come from. So if you're coming from a red listed country, you have to enter hotel quarantine. Amber list, you have to enter home quarantine. And regardless of whether you've been vaccinated or not, you will have to do that. So you can't say, for example, I've been vaccinated, can I not quarantine? That's not allowed, you still have to do that. But if you have not been vaccinated, the UK National Health Service will vaccinate you when you're living in the UK.
And just to add, will their medical insurance cater for that, or will they have to pay a fee for that?
For vaccination? No, they would not. They wouldn't have to pay anything for that. Another important point is that both COVID vaccination and COVID care, if someone were to get sick due to COVID, both of those things are completely free, covered by the immigration health surcharge. So because you're a student, you've paid the immigration health surcharge, you are treated as if you are a UK citizen, as in you get vaccinated, you get treated for free. There's no cost for either of those things. Although naturally, I hope people don't need to have COVID treatment. But if it's there, if you need it, it's there.
And in the cases of minors, would they still have to go through the quarantine regulations if, let's say, if they're from a red list country?
Minors is in under 18-year-olds?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's quite complex on the situation. In certain situations, for example, if a student is going to a boarding school, they can potentially quarantine at that boarding school, but that will depend on the individual situation. However, if they're traveling on their own for another reason, generally we're expecting that any under 18-year-old is either accompanied by an adult on their journey to the UK, or an adult in the UK joins them in hotel quarantine. We are generally not allowing under 18-year-olds to be in hotel quarantine without adult supervision. That's like a duty of care that is there. So yeah, generally under 18-year-olds won't be able to enter hotel quarantine on their own. There are some situations, for example, boarding schools, where a student may enter quarantine at boarding school. But yeah, it's very specific situations, so do check gov.uk or your boarding school if that's the situation that you're in for that guidance.
Thanks, Harry. We're just going through if there's any other questions. Please make sure, audience, that you put your questions on you can put them on the chat box or on the comments on Facebook or Instagram. There's a question on visas. Harry, will the visa be cancelled if someone is not able to get a job with and applying for the graduate route program?
A graduate route visa wouldn't be cancelled, no. Because it doesn't have any sponsorship requirement, it is not linked to anyone's employment status. So yeah, it wouldn't be cancelled. The graduate route is for 2 years for those students who have completed their course. It wouldn't be cancelled for that, no. If you wanted to stay longer, you'd move to the skilled work route, for example, which does require a job. But whilst on the graduate route, it is for 2 years, regardless of your personal situation.
And the place where the audience can go and find out more information on graduate route, is this still the UKVI website, or is there a link probably we can provide to the audience?
Yeah, there is. Audience could Google graduate route Home Office fact sheet. I can share that link as well. Graduate route Home Office fact sheet is basically a single page on the UK government website which sets out all the policy relating to the graduate route. That's the best link at the moment, and we can share that after for sure.
So let's just give it a few because we wait for more questions to come in. For those who probably did not join it a bit late, don't worry. On Thursday, 1st of July, we'll be having another session with the UKVI team. Miss Esther Oluga will be the presenter, and she'll be talking about not just the graduate route, but also the visa information session and just Q&A regarding visa applications and requirements, especially for countries who that are on the red list. So we've shared, the fact sheet has been shared. So feel free to just click on it and get more information. Regarding the universities, Harry, has the universities been properly informed about the graduate rule? Are they able to give support to the students regarding this program?
Harry, you're muted.
Oh, I'm muted?
Apologies. Did you say UK embassies? UK High Commissions?
No, sorry. Let me just repeat the question. Regarding the universities, have they been properly informed about the graduate route program, and that are they able to give support to the students regarding this?
So I'd say universities have been very excited about the graduate route since we announced it a year and a half ago. They're fully aware of how valuable this is to students. It's a really positive opportunity to work, earn money, look for work, all of that. And so we've been in a constant dialogue with universities in the last 18 months, which is between when we announced the route in 2019 and today. So yes, I'd say they are aware. It's a big part of their recruitment plans. They should be able to give you confirmation advice. For example, you're studying on a course that is eligible for the graduate route, they should be able to do stuff like that. And we work with them closely so that they know what's happening. So I would say if you've got questions, the vast majority of students who are doing undergraduate, master's courses, things like that, will be eligible for the graduate route. However, if you've got questions, if you specifically are eligible for the graduate route, speak to your university because they will be able to help you with that. Yeah.
Thanks, Harry. Let's wait in for more questions. Audience, please, if you have any questions, this is the ample time and opportunity for you to ask and be answered live. So feel free to do that. question regarding suspension. A student is asking if I was suspended during my course, will it affect my eligibility for graduate route? I know it would, but probably they want to hear it from you.
Potentially, yeah, potentially it would, because you have to be in the UK with a valid student visa, and you have to have completed your course to apply for the graduate route. So, yeah, if you're not in the UK, if you've not completed your course, or if you don't have a valid student visa, that may be a reason that you wouldn't be eligible for it. So, yeah, so I would advise you to, again, if I'm unsure of the situation, but if you're still in touch with the university, to speak to them about potential eligibility, because yeah, you have to be inside the UK, your visa has to be valid, and I'm unsure if that would be the case if you've suspended the course.
Okay. I think we'll give the audience 2 minutes. If we don't have any other questions, I think we'll have to end it. So let's just give them 2 minutes. Harry, there's a question on what happens after the end of the 2-year graduate route program.
Many students will stay longer, so they would apply for another visa whilst inside the UK. For example, the skilled work route or the startup route that we mentioned. Skilled work route is the largest route by numbers of people, and that is essentially the one where you have a job offer from business. So if you have that, you have to be paid a minimum salary, you have to be sponsored by a business, you can stay in the UK longer. Or the startup visa is about having a business plan, like I mentioned. So yeah, so at the end of the 2-year period, you would apply for another route that suits your plans if you want to stay in the UK longer. Otherwise, you could potentially study further. You could do another course if you were able to do that. But assuming that you don't have one of those other visas to stay in the UK by at the end of the graduate route, you would leave the UK. So yeah, you can't extend the graduate route itself. It's about moving on to another route to stay in the UK longer, like skilled worker or startup.
Thanks, Harry. Thank you. I don't think we have any more questions. So let me just confirm that before I give my closing remarks. So I think we are good. You don't have any more questions. So thank you, audience. Thank you for attending this session. Thank you, Harry, for this. You've been this has been very good information that you've given us, and we are hoping that the audience will also be able to join us on Thursday, so that in case you have more questions or just want more information regarding the graduate route, we'll have another session on Thursday, which we'll make sure we remind and communicate to you. So thank you, Harry, unless you have any comments you'd like to make.
No. Check the link that Amit shared for the fact sheet. That's the best source for now. Otherwise, best of luck, and do join the events by IDP and Esther to explain the student visa process, because those will be important as well. So thank you, and best of luck, and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Harry. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.